live! Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's another episode of Adventure Maidens, episode 45. 45.
Oh
what a powerful number. Oh, man. How are we all feeling?
Good. I'm excited to have downtime and get shit done.
Yeah, we were a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff was happening last time. We got some hot new threads, some hot new clues, maybe some dark and strange clues too. But that's cool. It's all good, and we're getting ready. We're gonna maybe even see the Blossom Court today. I don't know. So many things in the air, but it'll be a good time probably. But with that, welcome everybody. Hi, we are Adventure Maidens. We are a D&D 5th edition actual play / I'm going to say Tales of the Valiant actual play game, as we are seeding in more and more of these hot new rules here. But yeah, we are a stream that converts to a podcast. Before we get started, I should say this is a very adult-themed stream, so you can always expect, language, themes like graphic, fantasy, violence. For content warnings this time, we'll just have our standard, body horror warning up just in case, but I don't anticipate anything additional for this episode, but we'll see. Make sure to check, if you are watching right now, content warnings in the chat, as well as the podcast show notes, just to make sure. But I think that's it. So let's do it. Let's dive in. Hey, everybody. My name is Celeste Konowich, and tonight I will be your dungeon master.
Hello, I'm Katie, and I'm playing Laveri Sath, your drow rogue.
Hello, I'm Nassim. I am your half-orc fighter and budding druid, Tony Silvertail.
And I'm Sage, and I am your bewildered bard, Epha Flannery.
That makes sense! Oh my god. And maybe even bewitched? Who knows? These days, with Epha's hot new look, which all of you in, watching this can see right now. Thank you, Katie, for the beautiful portrait. But yeah, hell. Wow, there's a lot happening. So, let's do it before we dive in. Let the people know what happened last time on Adventure Maidens.
So we had reached Chasiana, and we made our first pit stop on the way into the city proper to the tree where we had buried Whistler's bell after we had retrieved it so long ago from the inside of a creature's throat. Epha wanted to use it because she wanted to use it as a focus for a scrying spell to see if she can maybe figure out where Whistler is, which might lead us to the other Corellans. We encountered a horrifying creature that had no face, but was just a cloaked body with protruding from the cloak were just dozens of human hands. And it seemed very keen on guarding the position of the spell and really hated Corellans. It was like, you're not a Corellan. I'm here waiting for them. Fuck them.
Fuck them. You can't take my bell. Fuck them. Yep.
This is my spider web, and you don't belong here.
You can't take my bait. What are you doing? Leave. Yeah.
You're not the snack I want. We need something savory. So we managed to avoid conflict with the creature, and Epha convinced it to allow her to just use it for a minute while she does her spell. And when the censor appeared, she got to see Whistler suspended in this gelatinous fluid, and there were others in a similar situation, and basically unconscious, but still very, very clearly alive. And she saw this, kind of amphibious creature that had this big frog-like face, and came up and snuffed out her scrying spell, which was horrifying.
Yeah.
Has a lot signals a lot of things.
Yep. That's power.
And then we just kind of brushed that off, and we're like, okay, bye. We'll see you again never. Hopefully, thank God. Let's go.
Next thing on the to-do list. Okay.
And we went to Bucatini's, where we got to catch up with Frida, and Frida gave Lou so much shit about Cassie.
Cassie! Loopy sitting in a tree.
Ma, stop!
Yup.
So after we kind of spoke to Frida, we got the go ahead to get the discount on Tony's armor. Lou was like, I gotta take these cannolis and tend to some business, if you know what I mean, wink wink. And she went off to go meet up with Cassie. Well, Epha and Tony were like, we're in Chauciana. We're a little drunk. Why not go to Club
Yeah,
Soul?
that's super great. Demon Club, Infernal Hell Club. Yeah, man.
And well, they did that to go try to meet up with Lark to go there. Uh, Lou made her way over to where Cassie was staying in one of her like parents' friends' fancy little brownstones, basically in downtown Chauciana, and had a lovely reunion because that sounded
Oh.
like a better start than all the bullshit that Lou has to tell her.
Yeah.
For real.
Yep. You also dealt with Briar, who goes by
Oh,
Bree
yeah.
these days.
Yeah, they were hanging out in a park, basically, being a teenager,
Being
the
a
most
teen in a
terrifying
park.
thing
Yeah.
in the whole universe. Honestly, more terrifying than those frog demons,
Yeah.
by far.
Teenagers more terrifying than whatever that frog thing was, for sure.
Yeah, and she made a fool of herself trying to act cool, and brought him back to Bucatini to buy him some dinner, and he was like way cooler than she was, and gave the extra money that she gave him to the waitress on his way out, and she was like, "Oh, good,
good
they're a good
boy."
person."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so with that too, that was officially the last task. So Tony was free, 100% free of now of according to Reynard's demands. No more favors owed to Hecate, which felt pretty freaking sweet. Nassim, you also did we mention that you got Frida to buy you some super sweet discount armor? Hell yeah.
Yeah. I'm now officially finally back to where a fighter fucking should be, especially when I break out my shield, so that's nice.
Yeah. Great recap. Like we said, last time was kind of a continuation of the episode before, where basically we had we had a bunch of business that we wanted to take care of and kind of wrap up before the next big story point, which is, of course, going to be going to the Blossom Court and having that whole diplomatic challenge that awaits you. But yeah, so last time was a lot of wrapping up business in Chauciana specifically. Lou going to see her girlfriend, and then
We're
Tony...
not official. Calm
Yeah, of
down.
course. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Putting a label on it. God. Being such a boomer. Okay, and then Tony and Epha, of course, going to dance at a devil club, just having a really good time. So with that, yeah, I think that's where we are. But before we dive in and resolve those scenes, we have a letter, of course. We are starting things off with a letter. So Nassim, this time, you have graciously decided to read this letter, which all of you receive. It is addressed to all of you, kind of slid under the door, of Cooper. And I will say this letter, like one you have gotten in the past from the Tsarina, is one of those things where it kind of like flies up into the air and folds into a mouth and then like talks at you and it's like, this letter will self-destruct in 3, 2, so listen well, because it's going to destroy itself at the end of this. So go for it,
exciting.
Nassim.
All right. Friends, as promised, I am reaching out to provide additional clarification on 2 pressing issues of our mutual concerns. I've communicated your instructions to my representative, who I've tasked with accompanying you to the Blossom Court. He will meet you at the appointed time and place. There is no one I trust more in all the world to aid you on this quest. You may entrust the full weight and breadth of your purpose upon him and speak freely of all we have discussed. As to the matter of intelligence regarding the Carillons, my agents continue to have difficulty receiving any communications from the Carillion Council, and my requests to speak with them continue to be politely declined or ignored. However, just days ago, we were able to intercept an apparent communication from the Council urging any Carillions still in the field to return to the safety of Ashtar. Even stranger, this message was not found on a Carillion or anyone in the employ of the Council, It was seized from a spy known to be loyal to Duchess Melwyn Tavere. We were able to get no further context from the spy before their ugly and brief self-exit from this world. But suffice to say that this is a curious and possibly concerning development. I suspect that Tavere's spy came into possession of this letter by some ill-gotten means, but have no proof at this time. I will let you know as soon as I learn more. Stay safe, and know the blessings of the mother and father go with you wherever you tread. Sario.
In a burst into flame. As it finishes reading, you've heard that in her voice. So real quick, if you all want to talk about that, we can assume, this reading this letter was something that just happened amidst all the other things. So, yeah, you all hear that.
Well, I guess that kind of confirms the whole Melwyn Tavere idea that they are trying to get in the way of the Serena's reign in some kind of way, because we all know that they'd go straight to her if they were collecting intel on that kind of thing.
Does anyone, for the folks at home, want to remind us, who is Melwyn Tavere? Why is this important? One more time.
That's the Tsar's sister, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, she is one of the 7 dukes, duchesses that basically kind of rule the Eldrin Empire, specifically the Tavere's rule over Phelan. And yes, as you said, Katie, this Melwyn Tavere is technically the Serena's sister by marriage, so that's concerning. You also know that Melwyn Tavere is the one who has Judge Cross in her pocket, and Cross was the one who came to really wreck Lou and Cassie's day that one time, and now why Cassie is actually staying here in Chassiana. Yeah.
With what I saw yesterday of the Krellins and hearing how, messages are being intercepted, I definitely think I'd like to take a time to perhaps secure an invite with the right parties to see maybe if I can find out more about why Tavere exactly has it out for us.
Do they have it out for us, or does she have it out for the Serena?
Both, I'd say.
I guess we are kind of in her pocket now.
I mean, she might be the one who sent in assassins. Could you imagine?
I could imagine. People suck. And she's been after this power for quite some time. So I think that all these Fae getting through are really just quite the perfect opportunity for her to really get in there and get a good holding, because anybody who starts to associate the Serena with all that happening is no longer going to like her. So honestly, I mean, and I'm just making leaps here, I wouldn't be surprised if, well, whatever we saw is some kind of otherworldly creature. If the Fae are starting to get all these new packs, if they're another kind of creature that could also potentially be getting these packs, and suddenly they're not getting them because the Fae are so much easier to get in touch with, I could see Melwyn trying to align herself with them to get the Serena in bad graces and overthrow her.
Yes, can I make a history check to remember if there were, when the Tsarina ascended to the throne, were there, was her sister trying to lay claim to it? Has she always just trying to undermine everything that the Tsarina did? Just kind of like, what is the royal gossip around that situation?
For sure. Yeah, go ahead and roll me that check. Unfortunately, since you're really from the valley, I won't give you advantage on it, but it's not a hard check.
Oh my god, I haven't looked at the character sheet in so long. 14!
All right. So it's not a secret that the Tavirs and the Mindaris dynasty, which are two of the four like prime dynasties who have traditionally held rule, in the Eldred Empire, have not exactly got along in the past. The Tavirs are known as probably the more austere and serious and traditional of like the dynasties, and classically through time, despite this being true, like think of them as like the very strict conservative like dynasty of them all, and they also have the worst track record for actually keeping someone on the throne, as opposed to the other three dynasties, right? Like, the last Tavir person who actually ruled the Tsarina was, it was a very short, ugly, and brief reign that ended disastrously. Think a sort of Marie Antoinette kind of situation.
Good shit.
Yeah, so a lot of, like, what the general thing is that the Tsarina recently married somebody from the Tavir dynasty to try and kind of quell some of the growing issues that the Tavirs had with the Mindaris dynasty, but that marriage, people see through it a bit, and it's pretty clear the Tsar and Tsarina don't, I mean, they would never, like, fight in public, right? But, like, they
have no great affection for each other.
Yes, that is true. So it would not surprise you at all if the Tavirs were continuing to find some kind of way to get into power. Yes.
Cool.
Even
Very
worse.
cool.
Even worse. So, because there are the 7, kind of duchies, like, that divide the empire. The one that Melwyn rules over is, like, basically just Phelan. It's kind of like being, the governor of, like, Washington, D.C., right? Like, oh, it's technically its own province, right? But it's not a state or whatever. So that's the province she rules over. So if there is any that is sort of a nice... And it's also where, like, the king and queen of the land live, right? The Tsar and Tsarina are there. So it's not like you really get to do your own thing or exercise a lot of power. It's sort of a
It's like living in
province.
London, and then, like, you're the mayor, and the Buckingham Palace is down the road.
And, like, the fucking queen lives there. Yeah, you're like,
Yeah,
cool.
you're like, well, I sure am in charge.
Yeah, so that's, even a little bit further, like, why Melwyn might, in particular, not be super, like, into the Tsarina.
For sure. Very cool. Okay.
So that's just some context on that, burning pile of politics.
Alright, well, definitely while we're waiting to meet up with this emissary that she sent in, I'm definitely going to continue to look into the thing that I saw that was keeping those Corellans hostage. I'm thinking... Lou, you have a brother who's like a wizard or something, right?
Yeah, he is back in Phelan, though, usually. Prefers it there for some reason.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's got to be mages somewhere.
There are mages all over the place in the Eldred Empire.
Perhaps,
Sure.
perhaps Bart will be able to point me in a good direction.
You know what? I will actually have Mom send him a letter to get him back if you want to talk to some kind of wizard or something. There's really no reason to be associating with that gentleman.
Little do you know where they are. Yeah. Also, as a reminder, too, I'm not sure, Lou, did you let everyone know that Cassie is also here in Josiana as well?
In
Frida
party?
announced it.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Frida
yeah,
was like
Frida did.
screaming about it. I was like, Mom.
Yeah. So that is also a potential resource as well, because, I mean, Cassie,
True.
at the end of the day, she is actually a professor, like, licensed through the University of Phelan, so even in Chauciana, she probably has sway with, the universities here, or could point you in the direction
good point.
of some scholars.
I forgot she was here. Oh yeah. How could I?
Oh, I should just be, like, staying at a rich friend's, parent house, whatever. Yeah, one of those kids. Anyway, anything else we want to say on this subject, or dive back into the scenes, resolving the scenes from last time?
Yeah, I mean, if they want to, we can send a letter to Erbrun, which is Lou's brother.
Yeah.
But it's up to you who you want to reach out on that with.
You can always
I
do
think-
both if you want. It's not like postage is costing you anything.
True. Yeah, true. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do both. But Epha, would make a point to go see Cassie first, since we know her, we know where she is, and can reasonably trust her.
Yeah. You did, as a reminder, too, Frida did look into Cassie at Lou's request, and Cassie actually seemed to check out, surprisingly, on paper, as far as Frida could find. So that is probably big reassurance, I think, all around.
Mom's really good at finding the dirt.
She's really good at it.
Like,
And
really good. I had several girlfriends who just stopped answering my letters, so...
so we don't ask a lot of questions, but we assume that anyway. All right. So
Wasn't meant to be.
So we have kind of two scenes that we have left to resolve. Obviously, Lou and Cassie. You're spending your night doing some fun stuff, but I know you actually wanted to go there and, like, talk to her, so we have that scene. As well as, two, Tony and Epha, eventually, you know, after hanging out and drinking a shitload of Chianti, you guys decided that you did want to go visit Club Soul, because it was one of the few places that Epha could go and be her glorious face self freely without distractions, because everybody there is already charmed and hanging out with devils, so it was kind of perfect. So do we want to go clubbing first, or we want to see what's up with our two livers in the nighttime?
Oh, lovers in the night. That'll
Lovers
set the
in
mood
the
for the
night
club.
time.
Lovers in the night.
All right. You ready, Katie?
No, let's do this.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're jumping back in. So as a reminder here, basically you had just like kind of showed up where you knew Cassie was staying because of Frida. A few keynotes. One, you had outed that Frida was your mom and like your whole family was your family. Frida hadn't said anything, so she was being super cool, but now she knows. You had heard from Cassie as well that basically she was staying in the city. Right now she's staying at her parents' friend's house while they're off on vacation, so that's like this super sweet, like brownstone apartment with a pool that she's just staying in. Basically, and then you had like just smashed face immediately. So I think, we can pick up after our fade to black, I don't know, early-ish in the morning when you're all both happy and, like trying to find something to eat in this vacation home that probably has nothing, so.
Yeah, I think that they're eating just kind of like the leftover pieces of cannoli kind of like spread onto some toast. Like,
yeah, sweet toasts.
Yeah. And Lou's just kind of wearing a robe that she found. It doesn't belong to her.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they have, it's that kind of place where they have just silk, like, monogrammed robes just all over the fucking place. And you're like, whatever, I'll be M.O. today.
Sure. Yeah. And she's just kind of like takes a big crunchy bite to kind of like fill some time to think about how she wants to approach her subjects, because neither are that fun.
Yeah.
And finally she's like, so I didn't just come here for that, even though that was exceptional.
Oh.
But I do have two kind of alarming pieces of news. Kind of, now that I'm thinking of it, maybe should have ended on the happy note, but I couldn't resist. So here we go. I'm just going to say it, okay? We're going to jump right in.
Should I sit down, or I don't, you seem like okay.
Whatever's most comfortable for you. It's kind of like you're going to sit down, and then when you hear it, you're going to stand up kind of news. So whatever you want.
Okay, you're freaking me out. Just dive right in.
Yeah, we're getting into it. Okay,
so dive right in.
Right. Thing number one. So I fell asleep for a brief while. But it wasn't like, I can't even say a normal sleep because I don't sleep. But I did sleep, and I was taken captive by my ex-fiance into a dream. Um, and she was undead, and recently so. And she wasn't going to let me go because she didn't want me to help Tony break a large favor to Hecate. Uh, but she's never been the boss of me, which I told her, but she didn't care because she's very much so not herself these days. And she kind of like takes a moment. She's like, "You still with me?"
Uh, yeah, nope, yep, yeah, I got it. She takes a big swig of coffee, clearly like, yeah, that was you a lot, but you know, she's trying to hold in there, you know, let you get through it.
Great. You're so smart. So then I was there and I was asking her some questions about what she wanted me to do for her because I can't just leave someone I cared about in that state. She didn't want to be the way that she was, but she didn't know how to get out, and she just wanted to protect me if she could, without my consent, I might add. So I was there, and then Epha used magic, and she came into the dream, and she saved me. And then I got out of it, and then we went and we were able to complete all the tasks that we needed to in order to get Tony out of this large favor. So that's great. Um, and that's thing one. Questions, comments,
That
concerns.
that's thing one. Just
Yeah.
okay.
It seems like a lot of things, but
Yeah,
I
no,
thought that saying like 10 things would be overwhelming.
yeah, no, okay. What is what is thing two?
Thing two. So I know that you did Corellin stuff you told me back in the day, and it's not a thing that you do anymore. But so I don't, I assume you've heard that Corellins have been going missing. We went to go check on uh Corellin Bell that we'd buried after we pulled it out of a corrupt fae.
Huh?
Um, and there was this creature. I don't know if you've ever seen anything like it. It was just like a long serpent body with like a bunch of hands, and it made like chime noises, and it was there basically just waiting for Corellans to come find the bell because it was going to capture them and take them away. And it said that Corellans are just drawn to it. So I wanted to let you know that if you're feeling some kind of urge to go towards something, don't listen to it at all. Just like stay put, send me a letter, I'll come and it'll be fine. But just don't do that, please.
She takes another big ol' sip of coffee and kind of puts it down on the table. So you've been pretty busy, huh?
Yeah, I keep very busy as a person, yes.
Okay. Well, obviously, I think it's uh fairer to say there's a lot of to unpack there.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad you're okay and you've been through, gotten through that, and I guess I just need to know or um how can I help? I mean, I assume you're telling me all of this. I mean, I appreciate it, but that's so um what do you want me to do? And it's a
now.
very genuine, like, with all of this, like, sort of the subtext, I think, of that question is, how do I fit into that, right? And she's trying not to make any assumptions here, but you told her a lot of stuff about ex-fiancés and friends and...
Yeah, great question. Thank you for asking. Um,
Okay.
I mean,
One, she makes a check mark sign.
yeah. So, I mean, overall, like I've said from the start, I really appreciate you as a person and I like you a lot. And I know I, once again, come with a lot as well. So everything that I'm telling you, it's really not so much based in what can you do for me, as in I know that knowledge is power. And if you have this information, you can stay safer because apparently being associated to me is kind of dangerous now these days. So I just wanted you to be equipped with all the information. Um, if you do want to help, then, like I've said to you, as you probably noticed from the descriptions that I'm giving of these things that I'm coming in contact with and that Epha is describing to me from these spells she's casting, I don't know what these things are. None of us know what these things are. And if you have in all of your specialities the ability to give us that same power I'm trying to give you with knowledge so that we can go face these things better and stronger, I mean, obviously we would appreciate it immensely and it would hopefully make the difference in us getting out of this with our skin.
Yeah. I mean, Lou, and she puts like her hand, out on yours and kind of gives it a reassuring squeeze. And she said, "You don't have to just worry about me not being here anymore. You know that I'm in this. I think it's very clear that I'm in this now, and I made that choice a while ago, and this isn't at a point I can walk away from this, and nor would I. So stop worrying about that. Just point one. I've made my decisions, and they have brought me here. It's not an accident, and so that's one. And yeah, I'll do obviously whatever I can to help figure this out. I know people who probably would have just imploded at like 5 different points of interest in what you just said to me. So everything from demonologists to to Fae experts here. Wow. Yeah, okay. Well, the good news is, now that I'm here, thanks to your mom, I guess, which, by the way, haven't forgotten that we need to talk about that. I'm here basically on like an indefinite sabbatical, right, until things kind of calm down in Phelan. So I'm at your disposal, whatever you need. I know plenty of people in this city, people I can reach out to. We'll get it figured out. I guess, where should I start?
I guess right now, with the direction that it seems like we're heading, I'm gonna start my studies in magic so that I can be a little bit more useful to us because I know that you're not always with us. You have things going on and you're I've seen you work before. You get really immersed in what you're doing. So I want to be able to help us in that way. But I think right now we seem to be headed in a direction of dealing with the Corellans because it seems to be of interest to someone who's been kind of a patron to us. So I guess what you can find out, Aoife will have more information. She's really good with details of what she saw. She could probably answer any small questions. That would be really great. In addition, I would like to add a second point to thing one that I brought up and a third thing. Uh, Second point being, I just wanted to say, with that whole thing, yes, it is my ex-fiance. Um, she's not the same person. And in my relationships, before lovers or anything like that, the number one most important thing is that that person is my best friend. So I don't feel that love in that same way for her. If that at all was a concern for you. But in the same way that if anything were to happen to you, I would never stop until I was able to give you some kind of closure. Which brings me to my new point, which
Well, there was a
is
3.
Yeah, I'm adding a
surprising me with
3.
this one.
Yeah, this is the
Oh, whoa. Yeah, no, that's,
well, you know,
that's, no. She laughs.
you work off of each other. This is new because of what you said, and I was just wondering if maybe you would want to be my girlfriend. So
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Kisses your face. See, you did end on a good note. That was great.
it surprised me too.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Good. Oof. That's a much. Yeah. Of course.
And Lou just has like an ear to ear grin on her face, and she's like, "Okay, yay, wow, okay."
Great.
So
And hey, I've already met your mom. That's
yeah,
there you go. One
she
thing out of
likes
the way.
you, which is like bananas. Because she does not like a lot of people from me, but she really liked you. So
Great. Okay. One thing though.
Yes.
I need to
For
give
sure.
you something right before you just. Okay. And she like runs upstairs. Like she just forgot something. You hear like some stuff moving or whatever around, and she comes back downstairs. And she's holding out like basically like a little silver kind of charm on the end of it, and it looks like it's a little sun like silver thing on the end. She's like, I would feel better if you just wore this to sort of help with the whole undead situation. It's just something that I've worn before in the past. That's just sort of helped me just know when things are close. It's just got a little charm on it, and I'm gonna go and like right after this go and make myself another one too, because just while I totally understand the whole undead X thing, I think it's just probably just prudent to just protect ourselves in whatever way possible.
I can't believe you just said that you understand an undead X thing, but that's
Oh, well,
what makes you so exceptional.
Scholars hear and experience a lot more than people give them credit for, is all I'm saying. And she kind of, holds your hands and goes quiet and just really serious, like, just promise me you won't take it off, okay?
I promise. Thank you. I love it, and it feels good to know that you're going to be looking out for me.
Yeah.
Physical form, not just in my head where I have constant thoughts that just go forever.
No.
Which
Hey, I'm your girlfriend now. That means I'll
you
punch
are my
fools or whatever.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
Man, and I am lucky. Have you seen yourself? Have you met yourself?
I think I might be the lucky one here. Do you have to rush off anywhere? Or got a couple more hours?
I will always find time for a couple more hours with you.
Great. Well, we should go upstairs and we can sort of fade into black there, I think. Real quick, so Cassie's charm. Here is what this gives you. So essentially what this does is it gives you 3 free uses of the Paladin's Detect Evil sense.
Ooh.
So let me pull that up real quick. Yes. So your divine sense, essentially. So you can use this 3 times per long rest. And just as a reminder, so the divine sense, the paladin feature as an action, you can open your awareness to detect the forces of good, evil. So you learn the location of any celestial fiend or undead within 60 feet of you that is not behind total cover. So basically you could use an action to be like, what is this? And it will register, it says in your head as a silvery chime or some nonsense. You can also, in the same radiance, detect the presence of any place or object that has been consecrated or desecrated with, like, the hollow spell.
Wow, girlfriend gifts.
Girlfriend! Pretty necklace that actually is a magic item. Thank you, Sage, in the chat, sending me a barf emoji because it's too cute. Love it. How dare you? How dare
Why
you?
you hate our love?
God. All right. So I think we can call that scene wrapped up, but let's go ahead and jump over to our club-in babes here. So Tony, Epha, rolling up to the club. Anything notable about these outfits, about these looks? You gotta tell me what is happening.
Tony has a big updo, like prom style. The hair is big. There's like tendrils flowing down her face. It's very romantic, very glamorous. And then always with a crop top.
Yep.
It's a high neck, single sleeve crop top with like the other side that's naked. It's like a really intense shoulder pad.
Hell yeah.
And then like a really flowy fucking skirt.
Cool. Looking
I love it.
Looking hot. Epha, with your Faye outlook, what's going on? What's the look?
Oh my gosh, she is head to toe in sequins that have this like rainbowy, shimmery vibe. So it almost, and it's on this skin tight dress, so it almost looks like dragon scales.
Hell yeah. I just imagine you like are, holographic glitter from the 90s. Like that's you. Everything about it. You are that walking around in humanoid form, / Fae form. Yeah, so obviously you roll up, you walk right fucking past everyone at the door, because obviously you do. And you get inside, and just as a reminder, Club Soul is incredibly dark on the inside, lit by sexy, red, almost hellish lighting, let's say. It's got that, like, sophisticated kind of jazz club meets nightclub vibe going on here with, right now there is somebody already performing on the stage, something heavy and instrumental. Lots of people are already, like, dancing. You can see freely, at the tables, at the bar, humanoids that you would expect just freely chatting with devils, fiends, tieflings of all kinds. You see now, like, you've been in here before, the illusion has broken for you, so these, like, horned people with this bat-like wings, leathery skin, and tails, in, every shade and stripe, just basically luring these humanoids into whatever dark deals they might be more than happy to participate in this fine evening. So as you get inside, the bartenders actually look around and kind of winks at you as you come in, and you're not sure if you recognize them from last time or what, or if they're just winking at Epha, like game recognized game. But you see this kind of blue-scaled individual is like whipping their tail around, pouring a line of drinks, and then like breathes on them and just like flames as they're like handing them out to all these like smashed Eldrin sitting at the bar.
Oh my gosh, Epha is just the absolute effervescent, bubbling life of the party, and she talks to everyone.
And everyone wants to talk to you. People are throwing themselves at you. You see a couple fistfights actually start as people are trying to like, no, I want to ask her to dance. Like, like people just like folding immediately. Like you letting your full glow out is absolutely causing a scene with these drunk patrons here.
Oh my god, she is just, she can't even stop herself. She's just eating it up. She is like, because I mean, imagine being like this awkward teenager who's never been popular, and now all of a sudden
people are obsessed
oh my gosh.
with you. Yeah. Tony, how are you? Oh my god, love your club background. Exceptional scene change.
Darude is playing.
Yeah. Tony is fully on the dance floor, like all night, drink after drink. She's trying to get something. She's trying to see how many times she can get someone else to buy her a drink.
Yeah.
Without like going to the bar.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a challenge.
It's working for you because also you are the friend of the hottest person in here, which makes you incredibly hot as well. People are like, oh, you know, or they'll be dancing with you and be like, wow, how do you even know her? Like, you must be amazing. Where are you guys from? Like this whole just drawn into.
It's a new story for every person.
Yeah.
We came from Chasiana. We came from the wilds. We came from the plains. Like, God, we're just so interesting, and you'll never know the truth.
Yeah, you'll never know the truth, and we don't even fucking care. Like, as you're tearing
I'll
it
never
up
see
here.
you again, bitch.
Yeah. I don't give a shit. And yep, drinks flow in. I will say probably at some point, you know, Epha, you're just like spinning around having a great fucking time. And then another person kind of cuts in like as a twirl, and you find yourself face to face with a very tall, like severe faced gentleman with a kind of a greenish gray hue to his skin and these longish ears. And there's something very familiar about him. Epha, it seems that you've experienced a few changes since last you came into my little club.
We've really taken the life by the horns, I guess you'd say, and she flicks her hair very playfully.
Well, clearly you and your friend are having an incredible time here, but I would love to speak with you if you have a moment.
Of course. I could use a sit down.
I'm sure.
And Epha will make a quick sign over to Tony, very like lesbian at the club doing sign language to be like, I'm fine. And points at Bartleby.
Tony is carefully taking note and making sure that you're always in her periphery.
If your friend would prefer to come along, I would like to chat with you away from the crowd. You've amassed quite a bit of attention here.
It's fine. I don't want to wreck her good time. We can go speak privately. And she starts like making her way towards where she remembered his office being.
Yeah, and as people kind of clamor and get in your way, he says, leave. And they just like go rigid and then just like walk away from you. Like clearing a direct path, just at a single word, as he like takes your arm, you know, gentlemanly, and kind of leads you towards that back office. Yeah, and so once you get there, you know, the quiet is just like absolutely reduced as he kind of clicks and the door closes behind you. So it seems the game has changed for you.
It has and it hasn't. We have made some moves. I've started to make some friends. But the end is still the same.
So here we are, a devil and a fae. I suppose at this point we just have to decide to what degree we are comfortable being honest with one another without being beholden. You're new to this. Would you like to set the standard?
Always the gentleman. And she slides herself very coyly into a chair, and she's kind of sitting off to one side, and her just long locks of hair just kind of dripping over her, and she kind of looks up to him from a corner out of her eyes, and she says, "Well, you've had quite a few run-ins with the Fae, with the Slithering Court and all that, and you are an incredible vault of knowledge that I would like to be able to take advantage of."
And what do I gain in return?
Well, as a vassal of the Sleeping Court, one of the more mysterious courts there are, I could be able to more easily access the minds and the subconscious and the desires of perhaps individuals of importance to you.
Intriguing. Yes, I do think having that connection would be mutually beneficial. So I do have to ask, you understand, from one outsider to another, do you have any designs on officially claiming this little slice of the mortal realm? Or are you someone I need to look out for? Like I said, I do have quite a lot of investments I wish to protect in this city.
No, of course. I certainly would not want to interrupt your business. I'm not interested in that yet. There's still so much that's novel.
Yes, I suppose for my first 1,000 years or so, I also didn't want to be too tied to one place. Good. Well then with that, I would very much like to put something on the table. I suppose just an offer of friendship and alliance, of course, from my people to yours. And in exchange, I do have some rather interesting information you might wish to be aware of.
And she holds out a delicate palm towards him. It's a deal.
And he takes it and kisses it, and his lips are hot, like the fire of hell, as they brush against the back of your hand, and you feel, that little exchange of magic here. I'm gonna ask Tony what the hell Tony's doing in a minute, because Nassim is having a great fucking time. But as you feel the magic of this deal kind of struck between you two, he smiles, and with every second he's in his office, he looks more and more like his devilish self that you're used to, with the hooked nose and like the long kind of emaciated features and the big pointed ears. Well, there is a new player on the mortal realm that I have been keeping an eye on. I'm not entirely sure why they're here, or exactly where they are, but it is obviously concerning. A devil of this level of power probably took quite a bit of supernatural know-how to summon or let in, or has been promised something terribly enticing to make the journey all the way from, of course, the infernal realm to here. So I thought it was probably worth bringing up. Especially since you seem to have been doing some scrying upon it lately.
Ah, how interesting. Well, I have indeed. You see, naturally, given my new form, it interests me to know where the Krillins are, where they've gone off to, what's captured them. And so we went to a location where I had stored something of his. And when I looked upon where he was trapped in this gelatinous form, and I saw this horrible, hideous creature. It was like a frog, and she'll go on and describe it in great detail.
Yeah. That seems to confirm my worst suspicions. It is a devil of, would say, lesser in their general ranking system. It's incredibly complex, but that's a subject for another time, devils. I would assume then to be this is indeed the curator, is sort of the name that, well, at least mortal tongues can speak. A devil who is obsessed with collecting things, as the name implies. So you have just mentioned, of course, Corellans. Interesting. Well, that is certainly something I will invest more resources into looking into, but I figured that it might be beneficial, again, to both of us to ensure that we find out exactly what this individual is doing here and what they want, and perhaps find a way to send them swiftly back from whence they came. Not
Agreed.
all, fiends are quite as fond of mortals or fae or any living creatures as I am.
Well, you and I are agreed on that.
Wonderful.
I'm planning on spending the week researching this creature, so I can certainly let you know whatever I turn up.
Well then, is there anything else I can do for you, Epha?
Nothing that comes to mind. And she starts to sashay to the door.
Well, let me know if you need me.
I'll be in touch.
And good luck out there with all of that. Obviously, within my club, you are fine to be as you are, but I hope you have found a way to conceal your nature elsewhere.
It's in the works.
Indeed. Have a good night.
And yeah, she'll whisk herself out of his office, and where his lips touched her hand, it feels like hot wax over skin. And she just kind of gently raises it up to her mouth, and then just distracts herself with a shudder, and goes to find Tony.
It's different. It's powerful. Not in the same way you are, but like that same, it's hell. It's another world. It's comfortable. It's almost like a lifeline in this mortal realm. It's something that feels real when everything around you is rapidly feeling less than that the longer you are here in this place.
And I definitely think when he said her name, Epha, I think there's suddenly a pull there and like a pulse in her body that she had never felt before to like hear her name announced. It got her attention in a way that she's never felt before.
Oh yeah, baby. So you're making your way back to the club dealing with that. And Tony, what is Tony doing? Because now you are the it person in this club here. So my dear Tony, please, what is going on? You control this room.
As great of a time as she is having. She's like, oh, our little baby's gonna go into a private room with a little devil. I don't fucking think so. So she like slowly starts to like dance and groove her way over towards the door, trying to see if there's like people watching it, like guards. I'm sure they are. So she's trying to like cause some other kind of ruckus, other things happening, and it is getting other people's attention. She gets invited to DJ for a second. She takes over the dance floor. Yeah.
What do you play? What
People
kind of
are handing her things to drink and try and smoke. And she's like, I'm here for it.
I'm loving this.
But
what
also, what the fuck is behind that door?
Yeah.
Her plan kind of goes against her because she's getting heavily distracted.
Yeah.
But makes her way over to the door, realizes it's too fucking loud to hear anything that's happening
you're
there.
like, what?
So she's just like, looks really silly, kind of her body leaning against the door and like dancing. And
So
if
Eva,
the door swings open, she's still there and looks like, oh my God.
Eva,
so
you
good
walk
to
out.
see you.
Yeah, you open the door and it kind of hits Tony on the way out, and there's just a circle, like a half circle of people, like in a dance circle, like semicircle against the door where Tony has been like holding it down, right here. So you walk out and like 100 people are looking at you, and they're like, ah! Like as you come back out.
We missed you, babe. What you doing all by yourself in there? Get out here. Get the fuck out here.
Oh my god. Epha is just cracking up and is immediately back into the party vibe without even skipping a beat. And she's like, we've had some developments. I'll share them tomorrow morning.
All right, tomorrow. Now let's get away from here. She yanks you back out into the dance floor towards the bar and is like, should we leave? Should we get out of here? What's the situation? Like,
Yeah, what kind of updates? Yeah.
Yeah, no, Epha is like totally just happy to party until 6 a.m. if you let her.
She doesn't need to sleep no more. She's never tired. She's an immortal being.
I guess that's true. Yeah. Well, I'm very energized from all this, so it's like I don't think I could go home right now either, babe. Let's
Let's tear it up. Hell yeah.
So good. We get white girl wasted.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. And it's kind of fun now for you, Epha, because you can choose whether you're wasted and just choose to end it if you want.
You're like, that was fun. I'm off this
that was
roller
fun.
coaster
I'm not
now.
drunk anymore. I need to go to work, you know. Cool, because you can't be poisoned. Cool. Yeah, no worries. So that's that. So I imagine, you know, the night goes on and you have as weird and wild a time as you want. This club is yours, babes. So that is, you pay for nothing, by the way, the entire time you're here, obviously. And yeah, and we roll on until the early hours of the morning when finally, you know, the lights start to come up and the devils start kind of ushering, you know, these stumbling, like Eldrin, like the last call is just out of there, pushing them out. And as the light of day hits them, they're like, oh my god, where have I been for the past 12 hours? You know, that kind of stumbling away as the night wraps. But yeah. Oh my god, Katie, I just noticed, are these fucking cannolis in your background? You guys are killing me. What is happening?
We were just talking about it.
We're
We're having a lot of fun with these backgrounds. We just happened to find the best ones.
Incredible. Nope. 10 out of 10. Amazing. Amazing.
We need to put a disclaimer at the end. If you ever needed an episode to watch on YouTube versus podcast form,
This is the one.
this is the one.
Oh
Yeah,
my
like I'm
God.
sad to get rid of this. We're about to go back to normal life, and I just want to be in the club still.
I mean,
just wanna
every
live
day's the club when you're in the
I wanna
Feywild.
live
Yeah.
in the club.
Colors.
Life is a club in the Feywilds. Woohoo. Epha is just bringing a little taste to that here. Pff, every day is like that when you're fucking Fey.
All right, hold on. Let's change our background before we come back. Otherwise, it'll be too difficult for me to not just.
Will be a
dance.
picture of you, a bathroom, because that's where you meant to be, girl. Morning after.
We're back in the city. We're back in the city. It's morning.
It's morning. It's morning time. Okay. We ready? Ready to bring this home?
Let's do it.
Okay, and we're back. Whew. All right. So those were the two big scenes that we had from last time, kind of unresolved. I figure, you know, next steps is basically like, because we did say we were going to have about that week of downtime, so all of you picking your downtime activities, then we'll resolve that, get you any, like, you know, rewards for that, and then we will meet up with this representative. But of course, before we do that, I wanted to check in, was there anything else, like a story, like base scene, or something specific you really wanted to do before we move on here? This could be a scene to share, like, stuff Epha just learned, stuff Lou learned, or anything else we want to do. Speak now. Or we're going to slide into narrative.
I mean, for me, Lou is just going to slip in into the room and like turn on all the little like orb lights and shoot out her hand with her. Was it a bracelet or a necklace? I thought it was a bracelet.
Oh, I said like a necklace, but you could make it a bracelet
Okay.
if you want. It could be a charm bracelet too. Whatever Cassie would have put it on something she thought you would have liked. So
Okay. Yeah, I feel like Lou's one of those like people who would collect charms 'cause she's a little
So
hoarder.
so it's
So she'll do
little silver
yeah.
charm, like sun charm on a little bracelet.
Yeah, and so she'll come in and she'll be like, "Guess who's in a relationship, bitches?" And then, like, as the lights just hit all your poor, well, Tony's poor hungover form, she's like, "Oh, I'll go make a really greasy sandwich."
Okay.
But it happened, and then she closes the door.
I got that jewelry. Incredible. Yep, so you come back with Grease. I guess, Epha, what are you doing? I mean, we're all
She
back at
is-
Lucatini, yeah.
I mean, yeah, more than she has ever been in her whole life. She is a morning person for the first time ever. And she's just like being like bebopping around and doing stuff and is like
Yeah, it's
Eva's
easy to be a
actually
morning
in the
person.
kitchen
Yeah.
when Lou goes to make the sandwich.
It's easy to be a morning person when you have no sense of time because your internal clock is just gone as an immortal being. Yeah, sure. Fucking lucky.
but she'll definitely wait till we're all together, all have our breakfast in front of us, and Epha will share that she had, as Tony might have noticed, she had a very interesting conversation with Bartleby last night, and that he was also very aware of the creature that she had seen with her scrying spell, and that she is leaning on him for the two of them to do mutual research to help each other out, because that's going to get us to whatever it is faster.
Yeah. Also, Tony, how you looking? I know we implied some stuff, but realistically, I mean, you can handle your shit.
Yeah,
but-
I mean, like, she's tall, she's muscular. Like, it takes quite a bit to really wear her down. If anything, she's tired. She's really fucking tired. Like, she hasn't stayed up that late, that long, that fucked up in a while.
And you were
So-
dancing the whole fucking time. Probably,
Yeah.
You haven't had to go through a workout like that since, like, boot camp, right? When you were, like, literally marching across miles of, like, desert.
Yeah. She got a little soft.
Yeah,
in
getting
that
a little
chicken
soft.
house, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, maybe." She's like one of those people who thinks it's a really good idea to go and have a hike after like a night on a bender, which, by the way, is a very LA thing to do.
Ew,
Look
at that. LA,
yeah.
Never
no.
moving there.
LA,
That's for
no.
sure.
But it's like, you know what? We could always start fresh tomorrow.
Yeah, just very serious. Yeah, very serious.
Yeah,
At the table,
we
keeping it together.
clearly need to get back into some activity, but we don't need to worry about that today.
Yeah, we're busy.
That's tomorrow Tony's problem.
Yeah.
Very tight. Yes. So yeah, Epha, that you share that. Lou, Tony. It's
Lou
So
takes a
wait. Remind me again. What is he? How does this help him?
Well, if there is another infernal being around, he said it was some kind of devil, I believe, but if there's another infernal being around who's going to be looking to take advantage of, poor lost souls, he doesn't want his territory infringed upon.
Right. He wants to be the only one taking advantage of people.
Something about the devil,
I have never heard that. Lou takes a big sip of her coffee and she's like, "Epha, I was gonna write to my brother today. He's a really nice guy. You would have loved him. He could have helped. Probably."
And her eyes kind of flit off to the distance, and she's like, Bartleby's a perfect gentleman.
I have no comments.
Oh, what, Epha?
He is in fucking
What did you
with
just
that
say?
living spell book, girl. He does not have interest like that for anything that isn't literally a tome of walking knowledge.
He's dating a book. Like, what are we?
Literally.
Okay, I mean, like,
And
if
you're
you're
the
trying to
girl
have
at the club
fun-
who spills her drink on the book.
yeah, if you're trying to have fun.
So
Actually,
much
this is
fun.
Tony's still drunk. That's the level of.
Oh, there we go.
She's not really
That
hungover
feels
because
right.
she's still drunk.
Yeah, I feel that.
This isn't like, okay, do what you want to do, but know that if we hear any more of this interaction with you guys, go beyond whatever the fuck you just said. That's where it's gotta end.
Did I just get a hangover? I don't even know what's happening anymore. Oh, okay. Okay. Just think about, I'm not saying that he wouldn't be helpful because he knows a lot of shit, but just as you're having these interactions with him, because at this point, it seems like it's happening. Remember what you know about him as you're having these conversations and what kind of guy, what kind of interests he has. I don't know that this is a match made in heaven, hell, or the wilds. Just my opinion. And also, if he hurts your feelings, I also really cool, but I don't think that I can punch him. I think he'd just fucking kill me. So
I can.
okay, you probably could punch him.
I
That's
would
true.
punch anything.
You know, maybe I could. I don't know. I when I get really angry, I stab. I need more beans. I'm making more full English. What's English? I don't know. Where am I? What is this?
Eldrin?
The full
I need
Eldrin.
more full Eldrin.
Yeah, Lou stab, I punch. So just keep that in mind.
Lou like throws her hand backwards as she's leaving the table to get more food for a fist bump and leaves the room.
And you see that shiny charm bracelet again that she came in yelling about earlier. Oh, cute.
Charm bracelet?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Lou comes back down and just puts it like a platter for like 18 people down on the table.
Yeah. Nassim, did you hear that? Lou came in earlier waving that the charm bracelet on the silver saying, I have a girlfriend. What did you say? Some annoying shit. What
I
was
don't
it?
know, like I guess who's taking bitches or something.
Yes, is what you've heard. Maybe now, Tony, it's all coming back to you.
Tony's awake enough now. Wait. Yanks your arm and like looks at this thing. Congratulations.
Oh, this old thing.
It's magic.
It's to make sure that I know when my undead ex-fiance is around. How romantic.
How romantic is... Well, yeah, that's... yeah.
So they
That's
were
a
like,
look.
they were like stoked about it, happy about it. They were.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't
You guys,
gonna say
like, cry or
anything.
something?
Oh my God, we didn't cry. No, we were just, I was updating her on all the relevant information and, you know, asking her if she would help you, Eva. Once again, Cassie, another much better option to talk to than whatever his Mr. B. Just putting that out there. Great. Just a well of wisdom. So beautiful, too. And
Mortals
kind.
just don't get it, right, Eva?
Oh my god.
I digress. So we were talking, and she was just like, "Oh yeah, I, want to stop you right there, Lou, because I'm in this," or something like that. And I was like, "Oh my God, okay, I'm adding another point to my list that I had come up with when I got here. Would you be my girlfriend?" And she was like, "Yes." So it's official.
This is so fucking cute in my head. I can't stand it.
Yeah. That was Tony's words exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, so she's on board to help us. I let her know about like some of the things we wanted to look into. And she's around. She's gonna be in Chauciana, so mom's gonna be keeping an eye out for her. And I also blurted out that mom's my mom, and apparently mom didn't mention that she was my mom, so now she knows about my mom. But it's good, because open communication is important in a relationship. So here we are. That's what happened. It's great. Who's next?
Oh man, I had a great night.
You look like you had a great night.
You sound like you had a great night.
I had a great night. This is such a good breakfast, Lou. Let's talk about this later. And she
keep eating.
very slowly, like a limp noodle, walks to her bedroom and takes a solid 4-hour nap.
Yeah. Yep. Hell
Almost
yeah.
thought you were gonna say dumb.
Oh my god. That comes later after this breakfast. All right.
It happens.
There you go. Incredible.
Like,
She got all the
Prime
information.
content.
Her adrenaline depleted as soon as it was over, and she ate food, and she's like, okay, goodbye. And left.
Reasonable.
So, all right. Anything else we needed to resolve before we just do our downtime? As a reminder, Epha, for whatever downtime you're doing, basically you can't go into Coven right now. That's your only restriction until we figure out your masking issue, essentially. But you have found a way to navigate around the mortal realm, at least for now. So that's, as long as whatever activity you're picking is here, you're fine. Tony, Lou, you're free to bounce back and forth as you need. But yeah, let's roll into it. Let me know, kids. What are we researching? What are we carousing? What are we doing? Picking some activities, and I want everybody to know we are using Tales of the Valiant versions of Downtime activities, so the system is a little bit different than what we're used to. Essentially, it gives you more specific information, opens up the way you can do rolls, so it's not all that same one tied to charisma for some reason. And such. So it might sound a little different than previous Downtime, but stick with us. Everything in Tales of the Valiant is very close to 5e, but just so you know. So who wants to start?
I can start.
Sure. Lou, what activity have you picked?
So I need to get my last patron for my heroic destiny.
Yep. Oh.
So originally I was going to try to get someone from the Forest Court so we could start to get in good with them, but then I was reminded that they're not in Coven
Yeah,
at all.
courts do not openly or in any official capacity operate in Coven, to the point that they're actually not even allowed within its borders if they've officially declared. So, yes.
So instead, I will work on her other interest, which is getting in good with the Board of Coven so that she can eventually start to appeal to get changelings more integrated and help them come back into society, because they are thrown out, basically, if they're not somebody's BB.
Yeah. Definitely. Coven is a great place for changelings because they're kind of that awkward, stuck between, the Fae don't want them, the humans don't want them. Here we go. So yeah, that's great. So for carousing, it sounds like to me then, we still have the 3 kind of castes. So we have lower, middle, or upper class. So if you're working with probably the Coven Council, I would say this is probably upper class carousing. So you'll spend your week of downtime doing this. It's going to cost you 250 gold pieces, which kind of represents all the time you need to pay your way into the events, be where they are, go to the fancy restaurants, etc., etc. So we start by paying that cost, and then for the resolution end of each week, PC makes a charisma persuasion check or a similarly relevant check to determine if you made So the system now gives you contacts and favors. So perfectly with that, a contact is going to be one of your patrons. So you already have basically 2 contacts that are active. So for this check, what would you like to use? Charisma, persuasion is just a suggestion. That is absolutely not what you are restricted to. So hit me with what kind of ability check you want to use.
So I think for Lou, since she's trying to pawn off her cooking as a thing for people to become patrons with,
Yeah.
I think that she really wants to continue to impress people. And since Faye love like shiny events, like big things, she wants to do something impressive. So I think that she is going to go to one of her other patrons. She was the other hag on the council. I'm forgetting her name right now.
Yeah, it was, we have the name somewhere, but yep.
Yeah. Basically, she wants to be like, hey, I know that you're having this party. I would love to bring my cart and do something special for you. And so, as referenced before, Lou knows how to do hibachi style cooking.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So I want, like, she gets everything she needs from Tandy and she shows up there. And I would like to try to use sleight of hand to do, like, a really impressive show.
Cool. I like this because I feel like the 250 gold, it's maybe you eating the cost of doing this event for free, bringing the materials. Like, that's where a lot of it is coming from. Cool. I like it. So give me that sweet sleight of hand. Roll that ability check. Let's see how you do.
Okay. Let's see. I have a +7. All right, so that's going to be 17.
Nice. Okay. So that is enough. So when we look at the carousing resolution table, so you make 2 new contacts or gain 2 favors with existing contacts, or one of each. So obviously, I think it sounds like you want to make at least 1 new contact for your new patron. Do you want to make 2 contacts there? I know your heroic destiny, you can only benefit from so many patrons, but you could potentially hang on to one in the future, or you could generate 1 favor with one of your existing contacts. And we do have some kind of examples of favors, like from the upper class. It's like connect you with someone willing to buy or sell magic items, lend you money, like things of that nature.
Yeah, I think I'll get just 1 extra patron from the council.
Okay.
And then I will keep a favor from my existing contact because her party went so well.
Yay! Excellent. Yeah, so go ahead and make sure to write that you have 1 favor owed from carousing somewhere on your sheet. And then, just hit me with a couple details about this new patron. We can decide on, like, name and stuff later, but, like, just some bullet points. Who is this person you meet at this very fancy party for one of your, hag council friends?
Yeah, I think that this hag is going to be a sea hag, and I really win her over when I flip a shrimp into her pocket.
Oh my god, everybody loves that.
That's
yes.
for you.
Yes. And she is perfectly delighted by that, and is like, anytime you want to come hang out and cook for me at my private beach house, because obviously I'm a hag, so I have a beach house, you're welcome. So, and you know what? I'll give you an extra, because you did pretty well. Sea hag, she, casually mentions that she might have some friends or people she knows, like, actually in the Heavenly Court that kind of share that beach house situation. So, it's not like she's allied with the court, but she just happens to mention it. And that really is interesting to you, obviously, as a potential connect there, or way to maybe get to know some more people in Hekate's fucking circle, right?
Thank you.
Yeah. So the Heavenly Court, again, as a reminder, rule over the ocean is one of their things. The ocean, the moon, the tides, that biz. So she knows a mermaid who knows a mermaid who knows Hekate.
Oh my God,
Like,
don't even say that
don't
to
even,
me.
Don't even. That's what they are. She's a sea hag, one step from mermaid. Anyway, cool. So that's carousing. So Epha, Tony, who wants to go next?
Does Tony have something in mind?
Tony's thinking of just learning from Lou, first of all, how to make that hangover remedy because now after the nap, she's like, I'm feeling a little slow. And I was planning on doing some work today. So do you have anything to just like wake me up a little bit?
Wake me up inside.
Yeah, wake me up inside.
Can't wake up.
But after getting a recipe from Lou, we'll go and start trying to craft some health potions.
Oh, nice.
Likely just one regular common health potion.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
From her limited supply in the chicken house.
Yeah, so on the crafting stuff, basically crafting, the way this works is you can spend, for each work, like, or day of downtime you can spend working on up to 10 GP worth of stuff. So one item either worth 10 GP or progressing towards. So since a basic health potion is about 50, yeah, you'll spend 5 days and you can brew a normal health potion.
Perfect.
Groovy.
Never a
And-
bad idea to have those on hand.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. And in Tales of the Valiant, you can just craft it. You're not at risk of not doing it after spending all that time and effort. So,
Well, thank you. Thank
What-
God. I mean, I'm
what-
proficient. You'd
what a
think there's
fucking
something
idea.
I can do right.
Right? What a fucking concept. As long as you're proficient in the tools you need, you can do it. What a world. Yep. So there we go. All right, that leaves Epha. What are you spending your week of downtime doing?
Now, with the information of Bartleby about this creature being called the Curator, Epha is definitely going to make a point to use her connections with Cassie, with the letter to Erbrun, about tracking down a Diabolist to tell me everything you know.
Tell me the hot hell goss about this creature. Hell yeah. Okay, cool. So we're going to do researching. So for a week of researching, you start by spending 50 gold pieces to cover just expenses. That's, bribing the right people, getting into the right libraries, getting your hands on those secret devil books, etc. And then at the end of the week, you can make an intelligence arcana, intelligent history, nature, religion, or a similarly relevant check to determine what you learned. So what would you like to use?
Knowing it's an extraplanar creature, but she's real good at nature. I guess we'll go with nature.
All right. Hit me with it.
Ooh, that is a 19 plus 6 for a 25.
Oh, God. Okay, 25. So you bust the chart. So you learn 3 clues. Okay. So specifically, tell me again, what are you looking for?
So, especially coming from a nature angle, she's looking because she's probably not going to figure out where or exactly anything about its identity because they
If
will be
Bartleby couldn't
incredible.
tell you where it was, then it's probably safe to assume you won't be able to just easily learn that. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think knowing that it likes to collect things and it's collecting these Corellans, she's going to look at it from the perspective of what other groups of people, like in news and history or in writings, have gone missing. Because all of a sudden the Corellans are, vanished. So yeah, what kind of, groups of animals, objects, that kind of thing are likely to go missing, and she's going to take those as objects that would interest the curator, so she can get an idea of maybe how to track it down or bait it.
Cool. Okay, yeah. So 3 clues on the subject. Okay, so yeah, you are talking to people like Cassie, and Cassie actually manages to put you in contact with a professor of, demonology that, is in the city, because actual fiends are a problem and a real thing that needs to be studied just as much as the Fae. So there is a dedicated branch. So you find eventually someone, Cassie puts you in contact, who actually has heard of the curator. And already off the bat, they're like, woo, okay, whoa, big deal. What? So here you go. Curator, known as one of the lesser devils, in the fact that they are not an archdevil, so kind of about the same punching power of a duke of a sovereign court. So you would learn that general thing. Of interest, as part of that same clue, I'll give you 2. Not a very common devil in the fact that they don't consume souls. They collect souls. That's like why they're weird and different, because usually devils have to collect and eat the souls to gain the power.
Okay, so to clarify, it's like curator is a kind of devil. It's not a specific devil.
No, it is a specific devil.
Okay.
The curator is the known. Here's an point 2. So there we go. Point 2. The curator is kind of the name of this devil. This devil doesn't actually have a name in the sense like they're not like Mephistopheles of whatever the fuck. They literally don't have enough like actual power or providence to have a true name. Nobody knows what the true name of this devil is, which is 1, terrifying, and 2, actually allows the curator to operate without kind of any oversight of any of the archdemons or devils. So that would strike you as, ooh, yeah, making a deal with a mortal would probably be super easy for this individual. They're not beholden to anyone. So that we can wrap that in point 2. 3. Okay, legends about the curator. Yes, so they seemed drawn to collect the souls of remarkable individuals. So perhaps that means Corellans right now, but in the past, that has meant things like heroes. Like they have traded away precious resources, power, like hundreds of uncommon souls to apparently get the souls of like legendary heroes or like people who are remarkable, like remarkable artists or performance. And apparently they put them in some kind of, it's like museum in quotes. So this curator always sets up some kind of display or museum or wants to showcase these remarkable souls. That seems to be their whole deal. So that could potentially lead to... So there is some kind of viewer relationship that has to work into the curator's end goals.
Interesting. Okay. All right. This is giving me ideas. Giving something to work with. I love it.
Yeah. So I think that's, the smattering of information you get between talking to this demonologist that Cassie's pointed you towards, and then Ubrin as well as, weighing in on stuff. Because this isn't exactly lore that's all in one book. You get this from all these fragmented pieces. Because it's been a long time since, like, a full-ass fiend is just operating on this scale, beknownst to everyone, right? Like, just on the mortal realm. So... that's what you get. But yeah.
Sick
nasty. All right, there we go. That's our downtime. So we come to the end of our week, and we are finally ready to meet this representative. So obviously in the Tsarina's letter, she said at the appointed time and place, and we kind of talked last time we played about like how you had sent her like an ideal location and time. So what, remind me, again, is that place and time you would like to meet this? He is all you know. That is trusted deeply by the Tsarina. Is all you know.
Didn't we say we're going to meet in that like area that the one attack had with the stained glass? What's it called?
The Acropolis. No, I think we decided in Chasiana after all. So since we were going to be here and be local, and we could have the family.
Okay.
Keep an eye out for this individual.
Yeah.
So
Chasiana is definitely feeling a little bit more like your city. I think as time is going on, like your mom is there, it's safe. You're getting more allies centered here. Whereas
this is our
Phelan,
mortal realm home base.
Yeah, Phelan is starting to feel very scary, especially with how Melwyn just keeps fucking popping up. And she's like the ruler of Phelan or whatever.
We should start putting like horrible, dumb propaganda names out of there, like Miriam Chafir, because she's so scary, or stuff
good.
Like that.
Just
do
we need
yeah.
we need to get a spy on our payroll.
Yeah, we need a smear campaign going. Set it up.
Can you just whip up a rogue NPC for us, Celeste, if you don't
Listen,
mind?
you already have the Tsarina spies. How did you think you got this information? You already negotiated that, kids. You don't need another. Well, maybe your own.
They're doing important things. These are just things to satisfy
I
us
see.
because we don't like her.
What you need is a campaign manager. Is
Yeah.
You need a marketing director.
What class is that?
Right, yeah.
It's a bard.
That's a bard.
That's got to be a bard.
It's got to be a bard.
Anyway, College of Whispers. Go on.
Anyway, what are the time, circumstances, etc., where you want this person to show up and meet you?
Probably at night, because a lot of like it's very normal for like dark alley rendezvous with people of shady activities or lovers or whatever else you want to do in a dark alley in Chasiana. It's just kind of like a crazy artist city. So I think nighttime would be very normal for people to see us like slip into an alley with somebody. They wouldn't think much of it.
Sure. Yeah, and do you want to be like, were you at Bucatini or just kind of around in the same area or somewhere totally disconnected from that?
Probably around, but not in.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so you all go to this, location, bringing Rook or no?
Yeah, we'll bring a little Rook.
Yeah. So the four of you are sort of standing around here, right, and like looking, I guess not at watches, but watching the moon as time, passes by, and you hear the chime of like the clock tower in this district ring off, and there's a pause as whoever's coming. Okay, it's time, and then a cloaked figure turns around a corner and kind of looks around and like offers a friendly wave. Like, are you the people?
We give a wave back.
All right. You can see, too, as well, like there is clearly a hand on a sword at this person's hilt as they are approaching, just in case. And the figure you're seeing is tall, remarkably tall. And as they get like towards you, throws back the hood, and you see an incredibly handsome Eldrin man there with like dark brown hair that kind of like curls, like falls to his shoulders, but completely clean cut, these like piercing green eyes, and again tall for an Eldrin that usually only stand 5'2" around there, like, and muscled as well. Like clearly this is a military man. You would recognize Tony immediately in the gait and precision with which he moves and walks. And as he comes back there, kind of, flicks the cloak over his shoulder there, you can see he's just dressed in, like, garb that clearly doesn't befit whatever his station is. There's, like, a noble or that comes off of this guy he can't even suppress. You, I assume, are the people I was told to meet? Says in a low voice.
Glad to meet your acquaintance. And Epha will introduce herself.
Once again, could you just confirm who exactly it is we're meeting? Over.
Well, I think Epha likes to refer to us as a certain way.
The name of our mutual friend, if you don't mind.
Sardiel. She'll whisper.
Well then, I am at your service. I hope she has extended it all to you. I am Duke Ravain Varys. A pleasure. And he gives a sweeping noble bow. Tony, you know who the fuck this is. This is like the general of the fucking nation, whose name you have heard on many of your commanding officers' lips in the military. You think you saw him once? Like, he's sort of a celebrity to military folk.
Tony is bowing right back.
He looks at you and says, "Soldier," and gives you a nod. He seems to recognize that about you.
Lou will give a nod and just be like, "I'm Lou, nice to meet you."
It is a pleasure. I have heard wonderful things about all of you, and the importance of our mission has been impressed upon me. Whatever I can do to aid you in your quest, I am at your disposal. My sword, my life, it is yours.
And you are?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he said Duke Ravain Varys as he has
Oh, did he?
bowed before
Sorry.
you.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I was
with a sweeping,
screaming.
perfect court.
I was a
You
little-
swept into the moment.
I was a little busy freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's a
back
big
in
name. I mean,
character.
Lou would know it too. Like, this is one of the dukes.
Yeah, I know.
One of the 7 fucking dukes of the Empire. What the fuck?
Well, the Tsarina speaks incredibly highly of your many talents, so we are glad to have another strong individual with us.
Of course, what you are doing is clearly of deep importance, and I know Sariel would not have asked this of me unless it was grave indeed.
I do have a question if I could start things off here. Sariel's letter did update us about the spy that was apprehended.
Yes.
And I'm curious, since then, have there been any measures to try and track this Melwyn Tavir and what their movements have been recently?
Well, Melwyn, like most of the public figures in Phelan, has done a great job of making herself seen, known, and heard to be in all the right places. I suspect whatever she is orchestrating is... well, I think it's something we must trust Desariel's spy master to employ. Clearly, the Tavirs have been operating for a long time in many places in the Empire, and it is never going to be something that is obvious, but again, not something I love about Eldrin society. You and I speak with our blades. They speak with deception. It is commonplace.
Well, let us be off then, where we may be able to speak more freely in a more secured place.
Yes, of course.
To the chicken hut.
Ooh, you're bringing someone new into the cheeky hut. This is the first time, yo.
I know. Did we discuss it with Rook? This is like her house.
It's all of your
Well,
houses.
what's Rook been up to? Has Rook been working?
Rook was selling your flour and running
that's
around
right,
doing a
that's
bunch of chores for you and stuff. Rook didn't, just said Rook, like, during introductions was the extent of it, and has been careful not to say a lot. She didn't react, like, any negatively or positive way to this individual, which you have to take as a sign of...
Wait, you
maybe
guys are
respect.
telling me we're gonna make fucking Ravain rub chicken shit in his eyes?
to see the house.
Didn't we have another way?
No, we have already established that when Kit came in that it was invisible, but once they were inside,
Oh,
they could see.
it. They just can't
Right.
see it from the outside. As long as you are okay with leading them through the door, they can.
Okay.
It's fine.
But I mean,
Okay.
how else are we going to get to the Blossom Court?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't. It's not like you can just walk in the fucking Fae and be like, oh, here, follow this map. Cool. I mean, Epha now probably could, because you haven't tried yet, but the weirdness makes sense to you for some reason, as of late.
Okay. Out of character, are we informing them of the new update of... Because the Fae are going to know as soon as you go in there that you're a Fae from a different court.
Oh, yes. When Epha goes to not sleep tonight, she is going to try communicating with Felix. Be like, help!
Hey, buddy. Yeah. So you can certainly on your travel to the Fae, if that's something we want to make sure we do before
Yeah.
We can absolutely do that. I think there is also, too, because remember, Epha is in this disguise, so I think when you all get back into the chicken hut, and also Ravane is a very good sport about walking into an invisible fucking house, but someone he has trusted implicitly has told him to do the same for all of you. But I think if you lower your hood, Epha, in that moment, like, he's just the, like, clear gasp, seeing you, like, forgive me for staring. I was not alerted. I'm sorry. And sort of bows apologetically to you, Epha.
She has this delightful trill of a laugh, and and as she says, "Oh, it's all right. The Tsarina, the last time she saw me, I was different. Things have changed since then, but I trust that you can keep this change between us. She need not know, for that would only endanger herself in the long run."
Give me a persuasion check on that.
Happily. $17.
He nods and is completely stone-faced in the way, like, you have come to know Eldrin nobility seem to have been trained to just hide their emotions their entire lives, so you're not quite sure if what you've said has landed, as he nods and says, "I am here to serve. It is a pleasure to meet one of the fair folk on such mutually beneficial terms. I'm afraid I do not have much experience with your kind beyond, well, the more unfortunate business I'm used to."
Well, let's say it's all new to me as well, and we'll leave it at that.
Yes. Please, if I misstep in any way, let me know, and I will correct my behavior.
And I think Epha is very visibly taken aback by how polite and accepting he's being.
Yeah, this is weird. No, certainly not what you expected. Nope.
Lou's in the kitchen and she's just like, "Well, I see why she picked you. How do you take your tea?"
Oh, whatever you have is fine. I'm sure. This place is remarkable. Not what I was expecting. It's so cozy. He sits in like a cute little, the cabin core like armchair, sort of, settles his weight on some doilies.
Well, when you're an adventurer, I think that you deserve a little comfort after the bullshit you deal with.
Certainly.
Oh, don't worry, I'm not the person who talks. That's this one.
No, it's marvelous. From what I heard of you all and all your deeds, I just simply did not expect such a comforting environment.
Oh, and I'll show you the best part. And she grabs his hand and she races him down to the hallway, and she puts his hand on a doorknob and she says, "We've never really had a guest before. Okay, so think of your perfect guest room in a house and then open the door."
All right. And he does, and like it kind of flings open, and you see like a towering, tall, like beautiful room with like ornate furniture, and I mean something that looks like it's straight out of a palace. And he like suddenly kind of closes the door. He's like, interesting, an interesting feature.
Here's where you'll be staying. I hope it's to your taste.
Right. Yes. To my taste. Indeed. Thank you. I appreciate the hospitality.
She'll kind of skip down the hallway back towards the kitchen.
Yeah, and he'll, I guess, you hear the door close as he, like, puts his... He doesn't seem to have come with stuff. Like, he had, like, a bag, you know, like, okay, few days of survival, but, like, I guess he's getting settled in this palatial room that he's conjured. But you all have a moment to say anything if you want to without him here.
Well, he seems nice. I think he'll do a good job.
He's an incredible commander. He's very smart in the way he approaches difficult situations, so I'm really grateful that he's here.
You've heard nothing but
If
praise.
Sariel can, if Sariel
which is
can't be
hard to
here,
hear.
he's the next best option.
Ooh.
He certainly got a level head, and I appreciate that.
Well, I hope he came with an empty stomach. And Lou just rifles around in the kitchen.
Yeah, and eventually, you know, he'll come down, and he's clearly like taken off his armor, like he was full plate armor that he's, you know, now down to like a just a simple red kind of doublet that still looks so somehow impressive and perfectly cut and just so well tailored. You're like, whatever. As he walks down, you can just like see how broad his shoulders are, and just the whole look again as he steps in. And is there anything I can help with? He stands at your side, Lou, ready to do anything.
He's too good. He's too good for us.
Do anything?
She looks at him and she's like, how are you at chopping vegetables?
I am excellent with a blade. Any kind of blade.
Okay. And she sets him up with like a cutting board and she's like, we're making my mom's lasagna. And she's like, it's vegetarian, so there's gonna be a lot of fucking chopping.
I'm happy to help. Earn my keep.
Okay, just so you know, I will critique you. But it's all in the goodness of my heart. You'll be better when you leave.
I would expect and appreciate nothing less.
Great. I'm gonna go get the fey garlic. Be right back.
Fey garlic.
You
The
just
second they start cooking, Tony is just like glued to the living room and is like, oh, it's just casual. I'm just here hanging out, playing guitar. I'm not watching you cook in the kitchen. This gorgeous celebrity.
It's sort of having a movie star suddenly like chopping your
roll
onions.
up his sleeves. He's covered in dough and grease.
The
It's
forearms.
the sexiest thing I think Tony's ever seen.
And also
And is
chopping
like, whoa.
like so expertly, by the way. Like even the tiny, like the little dice, the precision. You're like, damn, the hand dexterity though. You know, shit.
Yeah. God, he takes directions so well.
Oh wow. Yeah, and you know he'll chop like, you know, get through an eggplant or two, and then be like, so, Photonia, yes? Yeah. After it's like, you know, Lou's gone and you're just playing guitar, clearly not staring at him right across the way. Kind of opens the conversation.
Yes, yeah, Fitonia, yeah. But everyone calls me Tony.
Ah, I'm sorry, Tony. May I ask, and you don't have to answer by any means, how you came to adventuring? After you've clearly been through the military, I can tell by your poise and the way you handle yourself.
I'm not trying. I don't wish to hide anything from you, sir. But
No, please, I'm just Ravain here. We're all tasked with the same mission. There's no need for rank.
given that you're here to help us, I do feel comfortable enough to share that these two here, I was lucky enough to be partnered with in a rescue mission when I was still stationed outside of, I can't remember where we were, but
Must be one of the border
Ashtar.
towns. Yeah.
Ashtar.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of ours was kidnapped, along a string of kidnappings, people going missing as a result of Fae activity, and they joined me in rescuing her, and for some reason, this didn't sit well with some Corellan, and I had to leave because of it. So I've been on the road since. I've had a gracious, well, I'd say actually a lucky getaway from that situation. But I don't know that I'll be safe anytime soon to return, nor my companions here. So we've just been keeping busy and continuing to help the realm in other ways.
I am sorry to hear that. I wish your story wasn't as common as it is. The role the Corellans play, despite the Empire's best efforts, is never something I've been fond of. If we do survive this, please know that I will do whatever I can if it is your intention to be reinstated or whatever you wish. I only wish I could personally meet and address more of these individuals affected by the Corellans and their authority.
Tony is really stunned by this. It's like, thank you. It's not something I was hoping or ever thought I could return to, but thank you.
I suppose people like Sariel and I, we do what we can with the power, with the privilege we've been given, but we are haunted and know all too well that we do not see all that befalls everyone else. And wherever we can make a difference, whenever we can, we jump at the opportunity. I know that's why she has sent me here to all of you. You must be remarkable indeed. And again, I have promised to give my sword, my life, and whatever else is necessary. It is a rare and wonderful person that Sariel believes in.
Well, seems like all the stories about you were true. You're just as
Ugh.
incredible
Oh, God.
as they say.
Old soldiers' stories. Believe none of them. I'm sure I have my mix of others in there as well. I too was a recruit once upon a time.
Well,
He's a very charming smile.
you've done something
Very
right.
charming.
Everyone has all the faith in you, and you've bred a very strong, faithful army and group of soldiers. My captain always has put her soldiers first, so it seems that you've set the precedent for that to be the order of operations.
That is a reputation I am honored to have. Thank you. I think I've chopped through everything your friend has here. If you want to come back into the room, Lou, everything so fast. Perfectly, I want to say. I don't know. Unless, is there Lou something he messed up a little on?
Yeah, Lou looks over and she nods and she just goes, "That one carrot was supposed to be grated."
I am so sorry. Please, do you have another carrot I could grate for you?
I have literally endless carrots. And she goes in the refrigerator and or icebox, whatever it is, and she pulls out another absolutely perfect carrot that's of the kind that she got from her friend Limon.
Oh, limon. He's a yes, chef, as he goes and like he grates you another carrot.
And yeah, and she'll go through it and like cook with him and make her mom's lasagna, which just tastes like a warm hug. But like put her own little twist on it. She'll like cut the garlic so thin so that she can like fry it in a second and sprinkle it over the top
Making
so
me
it gives
so
it a little
hungry.
crunch.
Oh my
Dude, I
God.
know.
All right.
I'm doing this to myself too.
Oh, okay. So you all
And,
have a beautiful lasagna feast. I'm hearing as like, and you're traveling right now to the place the Blossom Court, like Demesne is, so we will arrive there, right? Like in the morning-ish time. So you have this evening, great dinner. He's obviously polite as hell. Company. Rook still hasn't said anything shitty or weird or like made any problems, which you think means she must like him. Like she's said nothing, and it's great. She just like watches him a lot, like really suspicious from the corner, but seems very satisfied every time he says something. And she's like, okay, fine.
Get the nod of approval.
She's like, okay, fine, I don't have to be worried.
Rook doesn't have anything to say.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good rating. That five stars on Yelp. So yeah. Anything else we want to do before we go into bedtime and quotes and have Aoife's scene?
Nothing from Lou. She has everyone fat and happy. She's done her work. She goes to bed.
All right, cool.
Aoife will wait to pump in for information tomorrow.
Tomorrow. But we're gonna tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. So you do. Aoife. So everybody goes off, leaving you alone to quote sleep. Do that thing you do. What's up? How do you reach out to Felix?
And she's lying in bed and she starts to meditate on the things that bring her to mind this like land of dreams. And she, as for inspiration, she goes through some of her drawings that she did post coming back from Lou's prison, but they just kind of weird abstract symbols and stuff that have been kind of like flowing through her mind, through her subconscious as she's becoming more and more connected with her Fae self. And eventually she comes on this image of a river of like pure light that sort of cuts through the Eldrin Empire and off the map and spreads out into just wild and strange shapes and of, in realms beyond. And she kind of silently chants, or very quietly chants the name Felix in her mind.
Yeah. As you do, and you're falling into that trance kind of state that you've learned is like the descending into a dream. It's a little bit different this time because you're not actually like contacting another sleeper, right? It's almost like you're looking inside your own head as you start to realize that these navigations of colors and shapes are your own memories that you're basically digging through and navigating, walking through like an old neighborhood, right? And you follow it, and I think it takes you kind of a while to figure out the shape of things, but eventually you turn a corner in your own thoughts and see the entrance to a cave. Kind of shimmers with this blue light from the inside, this blue crystalline light that you've seen before.
And feeling that kind of comfort and the familiarity of this blue light, she immediately heads towards it.
Mm-hmm. Aoife, what do you look like in this dream? Inside your own head? Do you look the way you look now? Do you look the way you looked before? What is the true self that is held in your mind?
I think now she looks like almost like a split down the middle of half, where one side has the long flowing hair and the bright colors, but the other half of her, is very much her young mortal teenage self. Like, it's this palpable line.
Yeah, it's not gone. It's still there. It's just kind of trying to exist next to the other side. Yeah. And maybe you don't even notice that until, like, you take a moment to step into the cave and the thought occurs to you like it does in a dream, like, oh, am I where I think? Oh, strange. Yeah, and as you're passing through, that blue light into that crystalline cave that you visited Felix not one, but two, maybe three times now? It's hard to tell as you step through and wind your way to that cavern where he is, and that pool and the benches, and there he is. Looking up, the fins on his draconic head kind of stand at attention as you pass in, and he offers a hand for you to sit opposite in one of the simple marble benches.
And as she sits down and feels the comfort kind of settle in, and she looks at him, and he seems the same, but also so different to her now.
He seems smaller. Less strange, less imposing, just like a person.
And in this kind of odd way, he reminds her a little bit of her own grandfather. And she smiles with the thought of him, and she says, "At least I'm happy to say that I don't regret it yet. But I do have so many questions."
That is to be expected, considering, for what it's worth, it looks like you're settling in quite well. It's moving faster than most, which is interesting. Do you feel consumed?
Not yet. It feels like it's waiting on the other side of a door. Like I can hear this muffled conversation, this muffled voice who's trying to tell me something. And when I listen hard enough, I can just barely get a glimpse of it. But it still seems far away.
It takes a river many years to make a canyon.
And she nods in appreciation of that. And she says, "So, what does it mean to be a vassal?"
What does it mean to dream? What does it mean to be? It's... well, if you seek answers that are solid and direct, unfortunately you have hitched your wagon to the wrong court star. What I can tell you it means is that you are going to change. You are going to become so much more and lose so much. That is what it means. You have aligned yourself with a purpose that seems almost out of reach by how ancient and distant it is. For connection is the hardest bridge to build of them all. And that is our purpose.
And she drinks in every moment with him. Because she wants to wake up and remember this always. And hold on to this as if it's a guiding star in the darkness. And after a pregnant pause, she asks, as much as I love my new form, there are definitely some practical issues with walking around in such a way. Do you have any guidance on how to change back and forth, maybe?
He kind of like sits back and, moves his hands on his knees like this has literally never occurred to him in 1,000 fucking years that anyone in the whole goddamn universe would ask him this. And he's like, what do you mean?
Like, mortals don't take too kind to Fae, so it would be helpful to walk around in the mortal world, in the mortal realm, being a mortal, to conceal my Fae-ness. And being a vessel, I can't go into Coven, and for better or for worse, I've got business and connections there.
You wish to hide what you are? Again, the shock.
Sometimes, having been raised mortal, a powerful skill that you learn is to sometimes conceal who you are for your safety or for gain or just convenience.
How fascinating. That never even occurred to me. All right. So you wish sometimes to be mortal and sometimes to be Fae.
Aye, that's the measure of it.
But you don't wish to give up either.
Not for now. Just while I'm still transitioning, while I still have access to it.
Are you sure?
For what's coming with Hecate, well, I'm gonna have to talk to other courts, and I mean, can I even go into another sovereign court if I am allied with this one? It's also, you don't understand how new it is to me. I don't know all the rules, and there are so many.
Well, yes, I suppose that is a good point. I can say we've genuinely never thought about it. The sleeping court, I mean. Perhaps it would be strategically advantageous to not always be so what we are.
I mean, it's like the nature of dreams ever changing, so too must we be.
You are wiser than I think I assumed, Epha. Good. Yes, maybe it would help us to make sure your mortal perspective stays intact. I think. All right.
At least for now.
Yes. Well, we have never done it before, but perhaps we can bind what you have. You understand, it would be quite restrictive. It would, I suppose, be like every time the first time your powers came to you. You would have to be mortal most of the time. Are you all right with that? With what that means? Transitioning back and forth and back and forth, it cannot be good for sanity, as I understand it.
And she closes her eyes and she sucks in and bites on her lip a little. And she feels this scream building up in her chest that she can't ignore, like this other voice.
Yeah, the
just
Fey one saying, no, 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 no.
screaming no. And it hurts, but she looks at him and she says, I mean, after all, restriction breeds creativity, and it won't be forever, but it's what I have to do now. For the safety of myself, for my friends, for as long as I can hold on to them. I have to do it.
Fascinating. Mortals are so brave. And there is a mortal in you, even now, isn't there? And it's clearly rhetorical, as he's just like staring through you in a way that you're like deeply like, what? All right. What binds you, Epha? Essentially what he's asking is it a feeling? Is it an object? What is the thing that you want to, like, whenever this transition happens? What is it to you? I think it has to be something. What is it that binds you, mortal Epha?
And she reaches into the pocket of her jacket and she pulls out a long circle of yarn with no beginning or no end. It's just a circle of yarn. And she begins doing the cat's cradle, sort of, as she's thinking about the mortal things that she wants to hold on to. And with each motion as she weaves the string between her fingers, and she says, my connections to the mortal realm are my friends, my family, and my ambitions. They are what tether me to this realm.
And so it will be. The threads that bind, the weave of fate, you pin in place, Epha, one by one by one. When you wish the full power of what you have bought, simply untether the threads, but they will form again until you are ready to destroy this weave. Are you prepared?
I'm ready.
What is it like giving up what feels like everything to become mortal again? Limited again. To see the world like you have, I don't know, you're staring through muddy glasses and feel yourself dying again. What is that transition?
At first, it feels like a complete cell-by-cell unraveling of her very nature. And then there's this moment of complete suspension and almost feeling like in a moment of anti-gravity, and then feels it all way back in on her as she feels like tightly bound, as if someone has taken a thread and has gone over every single inch of her skin and wrapped her tight. And she feels this pressing in on her, and she sees the color leak from her skin and her hair shrivel and become more brittle. She just lets out this cough at the end, this hacking cough.
And Felix looks at you, and you think it might be a little disgust, like, on his face as he, like, you cough, and he kind of looks away. It's, like, a shame. Like, he doesn't want to, like, he wants to give you a moment. It is done.
She takes out a handkerchief from her pocket that has the stitched initials of her grandmother on it, and she dabs those, cough-induced tears from the corner of her eyes. She says, "Thank you."
I suppose you're welcome. The disdain is clear. He's not sure he did you any kind of favor. When you wish for this to end, we will be here. We will be here.
I look forward to the day.
Yes. Well, I suppose, sweet dreams.
She can't help but laugh when he says that.
And, you are, as a mortal, you seem to have a lot less control over what is going on here, and you are swiftly kind of just, like, pushed out of the scene, as it ends and falls away, and you, like, you sit up in your bed and there's some drool on your face, and you realize, like, oh shit, at some point you actually fell into a sleep, and as you're, like, dealing with this, it hits you. You're tired, and you're hungry, and moody, in the ways, oh god, yeah, so mortal again. So essentially, here's... Oh, sorry, go for it.
I was gonna say, and as she's feeling the weight of this, she kind of laughs and she thinks of Rook, and she has a new appreciation for Rook's struggle.
Why she's so mad? All of a sudden, you're like, oh,
you're like, oh, right. I fucking get it.
Oh my god, yes, you've been under the microscope. God, yep, okay. You get it. Yeah, so mechanically, essentially how this is going to work is that basically you're going to be mortal as your default state, but over the course of 1 minute, once per long rest, you can basically transform into your full Faenus. So it's going to take about a minute, which means it's not something you can snap on in combat, right? You're going to have to be strategic about when and where you turn this on. But each dawn, you are going to return to your mortal state, even if you were a Fae before. So you can stay in your Fae state as long as you want once you transform, up to that dawn point where you're going to have to restart. And you can stay in your Fae form if you wish, but you have to spend that minute right at the transition of dawn. And otherwise, you can return to your mortal state anytime you want. No action required. But again, since it's only once per long rest, it takes you a lot of power to make that transition and feel that again. And like a Jekyll and Hyde situation, or those grisly, grimdark werewolf transitions, it's never going to be awesome making this switch every single time. But you can do it. You've kept your mortality intact, which may be a lot more precious than you know. But with that, we're going to end the episode. So thank you, everybody, so much for stopping by for this hot, spicy episode. Oh my god, you guys. I feel like we all had some good shit going on this ep.
Disclaimer for the people listening on the podcast. If you were ever going to watch a YouTube episode or on Twitch,
Do it.
this is the one because we were completely unhinged in the club.
Nassim was straight clubbing for most of
We were
this
up in
episode.
that club.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Lou wasn't even in the club, but I was in the club.
Yeah, Katie's body
Spiritually.
spirit was there. Incredible! Well, thank you everybody so much for tuning in, for joining. I can't wait to see what happens next time. But of course, before we do our outros, we always want to take some time to say a huge, huge thank you to all of you out there who support the show by watching, by listening, by joining our Discord. If you haven't already, please do follow the links on the podcast, on our website, on all our social media, and join the Discord. It's the best way to hear news updates from us. So if you're wondering, hey, when are you guys going to post next? Hey, do you have any cool merch? Hey, what the hell's happening with the Venture Maidens campaign guides? Join the Discord, and you will see what is going on there. So please, especially as other social media platforms are collapsing, Discord is the best way to go and get the news. Otherwise, again, those people who support us in a financial way, huge fucking thank you. These are our Patreon donors. I don't know if you know this, but podcasting makes no money. Like, literally no money. It's just hours and hours and hours of work we do for free to bring it to you, the people, the beautiful, wonderful people. So our Patreon donors, the people who go to patreon.com and actually support us with their dollars, from as $1 a month to as high as some of our awesome, like, $50 donor tiers, you all make the difference. You make this all happen. You pay the cast. You make dreams happen. We love you guys. So we always want to take some time to thank our top 2 donor tiers, the Arnie's Cohorts tier and the Farrah's Drinking Mate tiers. So I want to start off by saying a huge old thank you to Debbie. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Curry.
Thank you so much, Muffin, the one who lives on Drury Lane, on X.
On X/Twitter/X.
On what?
Who knows?
On X/Twitter.
Collapse of social media. Yeah.
And thank you so much, Nissa McKinnon.
Thank you, Richie113 on our Discord.
Hey, thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
And our Farrah's Drinking Mates, thank you, Nadia.
Oh, thank you, Chris.
I was like, is it me?
We're like-
Damn it. It's always me. No. Thank you so much, Margly, one of our awesome Discord mods. Thank you.
Thank you, Fable.
Thank you, Sheepish Gnome.
And thank you, Destiny.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Mrim, my favorite one to say.
Thank you, Noon, from the Discord server.
And thank you, Brittany.
Thank you so much, Alan, at Obsidian Cyrix, and awesome owner of Dwarven Ration Cakes. Check them out. So good. Listen to the podcast.
They're so good.
So good. Get you some.
Lou approved. And thank you, last but certainly not least, our wiki master, Ben, aka Flower Crown Gaming.
Thank you, all you beautiful, wonderful, lovely people. So we're going to be back. Yeah, we're back on our normal schedule in this hot new year, so looking forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. But until then, everybody, I have been your Dungeon Master, Celeste Conowitch.
I have played Luveri Sath, your drow rogue, and I'm Katie.
I'm Nassim, and I have been your filthy, drunk little fighter.
Club rat.
I love it. Your filthy
Little
little
club rat.
fighter. Yeah.
Druid, Tony Silvertail.
And I'm Sage, and I have been your newly versatile vassal, Epha Flannery.
Oh, hell yeah. Look at... I'm so excited for the acting challenge, Sage, that is before you, swapping between
I'm
Mortal
ready.
and Fae. I love it. I feel like you're doing amazing things, and I can't wait to throw a wrench in it, but that's just my job. Yeah, that's Venture Maidens for you all. But, yeah, great shit. Can't wait to do it again. But until next time, everybody...
Venture
away! Venture away, everybody!
Get out of here.
Get out! Go! Get out of here!
Bye, you
Bye-bye.
crazy kid.